What up, Bears fans? Harrison Graham here. We got a Chicago Bears NFL mock draft roundup on today's show, as two of the bigwigs in the NFL draft game have released a new mock draft. Todd McShay of ESPN and Dane Brugler of the Athletic have both released post-NFL Combine, pre-NFL free agency mocks. So we're going to react to both of those here on today's show. Let's start with Todd McShay here, as he has released his latest mock. He has the Bears trading down twice in his latest mock draft, and hint, hint, so does Dane Brugler. Things are going to get interesting on today's show and over the next several days, as the Bears could be pretty active with that number one pick. So McShay's first trade idea, it's the same one from his last mock. It's the Bears received the number 4 pick, number 35 overall pick from Indianapolis, a 5th-round pick, and a 2021 round pick. But he said maybe, so I don't know if that means or a second, but we'll throw the first in there because I think it's going to at least cost that. You got to get future first as well for the number 1 pick going back to the Indianapolis Colts. I got to be honest. Is this enough? Is it enough for the number 1 pick? I think that's probably it's got to be at least that. Maybe that gets it done, but I don't think it would be anything less. I think you're getting 435 and a first next year at minimum. The 5th-round pick doesn't really have any value to me. I would take it, of course, but I think that is where it starts, and maybe you want a player as well. I just think if you're Ryan Poles, you want a premium for this pick. He's kind of made that clear, so we'll see how it goes on that front. I want to show this trade again. Would you do this trade? Would you trade number 1 for number 4, 35, a 5th this year, and a first next year? Would you do this trade? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Curious what Bears fans think down in the comments. Let me know if you would do this pick or if you would not do this pick. Okay, let's get to Todd McShay on a second trade down. I can't really show the trade graphic, but it's between the Bears and the Raiders. The reason I can't show a trade graphic because he doesn't really explain that well what the trade would be. He says, I'd imagine the Bears could add at least a 3rd and 4th rounder with this move, talking about going from 4 to 7, and Chicago might even be able to get the Raiders' 2nd rounder, given Las Vegas' urgency for a passer. A 3rd and 4th to move from 4 to 7? I'm not trading from 4 to 7 without another first. That's just not going to do it. So I don't think McShay has any good feel at all for what these trades look like. They would want a higher premium, in my opinion. Now, it may not be, maybe it's like a first next year and like a 3rd this year or something like that, but a 3rd and a 4th? I don't think that makes any sense whatsoever. So I think he's all over the place with that value on that one. I don't think it's quite enough with the Colts, and I definitely don't think it's a good enough offer from the Las Vegas Raiders. This is a reason why you should subscribe to our new NFL draft channel here at Chat Sports. If you love the draft, and you should this year as a Bears fan, go subscribe, youtube.com/chatnfl. We're going to have better analysis than Todd McShay and the bigwigs over there, because Tom Downey here at Chat Sports is a great NFL draft guru. You'll see me from time to time over there as well. youtube.com/chatnfl. Go subscribe. It'll be the pinned comment on this video. So let's get to McShay's first pick for the Chicago Bears after trading down twice. Round 1, pick number 7. It is Peter Skoronski, the offensive lineman out of Northwestern. McShay has the Bears selecting Skoronski after trading down twice. And look, I think number 7 is probably about the earliest spot I would go to draft a offensive line. I think if you had a top 5, top 6 pick, I probably wouldn't go line, but I think at 7, it's probably fair. Skoronski is rock solid. Now, the question has and continues to be, is he a tackle or a guard? Those are the big questions coming out of college. We were all waiting anxiously. How long are his arms at the NFL Combine? Well, they didn't come in super long, so take that for what it's worth. Here's Todd McShay about Peter Skoronski. He says there were already questions about whether Skoronski fits better as a tackle or guard at the next level, and his 32.25-inch arm length measurements at the Combine will keep that chatter alive. Offensive tackles ideally have 34-inch arm length or more, but he is sudden, almost always balanced in his set, and is powerful. And we've talked about Skoronski a lot, how he's just a rock-solid player. I mean, his overall PFF grades the last couple of years have been very, very good. His pass blocking in particular this year was excellent. His run blocking has been phenomenal as well. He's only given up 3 sacks in 2 seasons, so been really impressed by that as well. You look at this offensive line, and I do think, especially with his shorter arms and knowing what Ryan Poles likes, I don't think he would put Skoronski at left tackle and move Braxton Jones. I think if he drafts Peter Skoronski, he's going to play left guard or right tackle. That's what I would do. That's what I think he would do. I'm okay with him playing right tackle with shorter arms, but I don't want my left tackle having tiny arms. Like, I don't want to get too caught up in the measurement stuff, but McShay is right. Like, the absolute minimum for a quality left tackle is historically been 33-inch arms, and it's really 34 or more. Like, Braxton Jones has 36-inch arms, guys. That's why there's a lot to work with there. Even though he's still a little bit raw, we saw him hold his own as a rookie because he has the measurables. Skoronski's got great technique, but if you got shorter arms, you really got to make up for it in other ways, which he can. I just think he has a better chance of doing it at a different position. I think he's strong enough to play guard, and I think he can get away with it playing at right tackle. Now, would you draft Peter Skoronski at number 7 overall? Type D for draft or P for pass. Let me know down in the comment section down below. Would you draft Peter Skoronski with the 7th pick? Now, better Bears analysis than what the national commentators can offer. That's what we're going to offer here at Chat Sports and at Chicago Bears Now. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that sub button. Trying to grow this thing. And the more subs we get, we'll be able to do a live fan-led mock draft once again. We've already done one of those. Would like to do another one. So subscribe today, and we will get you caught up on the latest Chicago Bears news and rumors. All right, let's go from Todd McShay to Dane Brugler, his latest mock draft. And to be frank, I think Brugler's the best draft analyst in the game right now, except for Tom Downey, of course. But Brugler, on a national level, he is elite. I mean, I think he's tapped in. I think he knows his stuff. He's really, really good. He also did the double trade down for Chicago with the same team to start, the Indianapolis Colts. And he basically did the McShay trade, except for he didn't say maybe a first next year. He didn't have a 5th this year, but again, I don't think that's a huge deal. Again, though, I'm not sure this is enough. I would probably either want a player or another solid pick on top of that, kind of like what I said with the McShay offer, but I think it's a good starting point. Then he trades down again from 4 to 9 with the Carolina Panthers, picks up 9, 61, and a first next year. You're dropping 5 spots there. Again, I'm kind of in the, okay, I'd probably ask for a player or at least another, 2nd, 3rd round pick, whether it's this year or next year. But starting point-wise, I think this is at least decent. I think he's more on a better page than McShay is overall when he proposes trades. So to recap Brugler's trade downs, to just kind of consolidate it all, Bears have moved down from 1 to 9 with 2 trades while picking up 2 seconds this year and 2 firsts next year. Pretty good. I think I would want a player from one of those 2 teams to really help beef it up, but that's pretty solid. Like, that's pretty good to move from 1 to 9, so I think that's a pretty decent haul overall that Brugler is proposing. Now, who has the better trades? It's got to be Brugler, right? Because McShay didn't even basically clarify what the second trade was. Technically, he didn't even clarify the first one. So type DB if you think it's Dane Brugler. Spam TM if you think it's Todd McShay. Which analyst do you think had the better trade ideas? All right, so at number 9 overall, Brugler has Chicago selecting Iowa edge rusher Lucas Van Ness as the Iowa defensive lineman. Had a really, really good combine, pretty productive over the past couple of years as well. Had 70 tackles, 19 tackles for loss, 13 sacks, and a pass breakup. A lot of you Bears fans, I know, watch the Big Ten very closely and should be familiar with Van Ness. 6'6", 275. It's 270, 275, so he's a guy that could kick inside some as well, which I like that versatility. You look at his relative athletic score. Shout out to Math Bomb, who does these at the Combine every year. Green is good. A lot of green on that screen, right? 40-yard dash, excellent. 20 and 10-yard splits, awesome. Shuttle and 3-cone, very good as well. The only couple of areas he didn't do great in. Vertical, which I think for a defensive lineman doesn't matter that much. Maybe it has a slight impact if you're trying to bat down balls, but he's 6'6". He can kind of make up for it there. And the bench press, 17 reps, isn't great for a defensive lineman, but he's got longer arms, which historically leads to less reps. Like, I remember years ago, Orlando Brown did like 12 reps on the bench. He's a very powerful offensive lineman. So I think it's just one of those deals where certain drills for certain guys just don't work out well. He had a strong combine overall. He was very, very good. The athleticism was there, especially with the agility and the running, which I think that's very, very important for a guy who can be versatile on a defensive line. And I like that he does have that versatility. He can play edge in certain downs. He could kick inside, play 3-tech on this defensive line that desperately needs some productive players. Is number 9 overall too rich for him? It's hard to say. I think he could sneak into the top 10. He had a good combine. He was probably 15 to 20 range before the combine, but I think he helped himself a decent amount. And plus with the, maybe he goes higher and Jalen Carter goes lower with his situation. That could be a factor here as well. So I definitely think it's a decent pick here. I don't know if it's necessarily the pick I would make, but I'd be okay with it. I guess I'd put it that way. Now, who do you think is the better overall prospect? Type PS for Peter Skoronski, LVN for Lucas Van Ness. Let me know in the comments. Like, if you had to pick just a better pure player, who do you think that guy is? PS for Skoronski, LVN for Van Ness. I think Skoronski is a little more just technically sound, but Van Ness's ceiling is probably better because he's got better measurables and more room to grow than a guy like Skoronski does. All right, that's going to do it for this mock draft roundup. Again, check out our NFL draft channel at youtube.com/chatNFL, trying to get to 1,000 subscribers over there. That way we can publish more NFL draft content. youtube.com/chatNFL. Let's make it happen here ASAP.